All right. So we're basically going to be watching this for a bit. All right. All right, let me change my thing. It is sponsored, guys. I'll be changing the title really quick. Oh God, it's kind of loud. I didn't. All right. Hope you have a fun stream. We're starting off just watching this trailer for a bit. All right. Path of Exile. Yep, I used to play it a long time ago. It's been a while though. All right. Sec. Okay. No Gazino? Probably no Gazino. Hey guys, how loud should this be? All right. But anyways, guys, we're pretty much watching this for, I think, about 30 minutes, and then we'll be getting on GTA after that. So, yep, it is obviously a bit early, guys. It is a bit early. So.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding
Okay.
Games. Thank you for joining us as we unveil Path of Exile's next big
We're watching this there's a Path of Exile thing for their new expansion in a bit.
We have released 3 large endgame expansions,
Yep.
each evolving Path of Exile's endgame in a different way.
I didn't
I am proud to
play.
present our
It went
fourth
low
endgame
res.
expansion, which launches
Um.
on Xbox and PlayStation on
All right.
February 9th. Twitch drops are enabled.
Guess we're
for
just
today's
watching
live
this for a
stream, so
bit,
make
and
sure
then we
you
should be
follow the
good.
instructions below to link your account and be eligible to earn the Wasteland Wings.
Let me turn it a little louder.
We've got a lot to show you in today's live stream, so I'm going to.
I don't want it
cover a lot
like
of
too
ground
loud, but
quickly.
not too quiet.
We'll
You
start
know.
with a trailer for Siege of the Atlas, and then dive into learning about the pinnacle bosses you'll face as you explore the new Atlas of Worlds.
Okay.
We'll then talk about the new way you customize your Atlas experience. Rewards are next, with a focus on both the new itemization and crafting possibilities.
I
for
haven't
in-game
played this in a bit,
and
guys.
the new
Not
unique
gonna lie.
currency items you can earn by defeating the pinnacle bosses. Then we'll cover changes to how the Atlas
What
works.
time
with
is
its
it?
new game
It's,
systems before revealing the arch nemesis
It's like 11
challenge league,
a.m.
which
where I
launches
live.
alongside Siege of the Atlas.
It's a little early. It's
After
a little
summary
early
of
for
what
us.
game balance changes we're making in this expansion, we'll have a Q&A session where Ziggy D asks me questions from the community. Finally, we'll
Is it
post the
solo?
full
We're
patch
not
notes
playing
as
it
soon
today,
as the
guys.
live
We're just
stream
watching the
ends.
thing.
Let's
It
check
should
out the
be
trailer
about
for Siege of
30
the
minutes. All right. Okay. It's Tsunami. Yep. We'll be on later though. All right.
Cirrus is dead.
Okay.
Zana has
You ever
chosen
played it?
exile.
I've played it, but I played it quite a while ago. So
But the Atlas of Worlds remains
dead? Yeah,
for
I'm
Eldritch
not gonna
Warriors.
pretend. I don't quite know the storyline too well because I haven't played in a long amount of time.
We placated the Maven. We've been
Right.
preparing for the arrival of another, but we never expected Thor. They
Okay.
embody insatiable
It's like a
hunger,
top-down action RPG kind of thing, I think.
crushing darkness, searing flame, merciless wrath.
All right. It's like, yeah, guys. I'm not sure if we're allowed to. You know, I probably shouldn't say this, but sometimes game sponsors don't like when you make certain comparisons. Now they haven't told me it, but I'm just trying to be safe, so just not gonna say anything. But technically they didn't say I shouldn't. But obviously there are some similarities to another, top-down RPG that I bet a lot of people have played, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing in my opinion, but sold. I think it's actually free to play, unless it isn't. In which case, it's gonna be awkward if it's not free to play. It's free, isn't it? I think it's free.
Or we will all perish.
All right. February 4th, guys, the new expansion. All right. I don't know if there's a storyline for this game. I kind of just, you guys know I'm a story skipper, so like I don't really.
The events in
Don't
Siege
really
of
know.
the Atlas take place after the defeat of Cirrus. With Zana leaving to pursue her own agenda, Commander Kirik has taken responsibility for defending the Atlas and Rayclast against whatever eldritch horrors might arrive. Because Oriath was decimated by both Katava and then Cirrus,
I think
Kirik
there's a
has moved several
storyline.
map devices to an isolated island in the Kurui archipelago and has established a militia in order to prevent another event.
Where's the
like
link?
Cirrus
There's no link or anything yet,
In
as
this
far as I
expansion,
know.
you will
It's
join Kirik's militia
I think it's
and will
on
be asked
Steam
to
though.
scout the front lines of the
If it's
Atlas
not
for
on Steam,
threats.
this is gonna be awkward. But I'm
After
pretty sure when I
encountering
played
the
it
Maiden,
last,
you will learn
it
that two
was.
more eldritch horrors like her or the Elder are on their way to the
If I'm wrong about that,
Unlike
this is
her,
gonna be
their
really, really
intentions are
awkward. But
driven by the need to consume absolutely
yeah, last time I
everything
played
they
it, it
encounter.
was on Steam.
You must
But
learn what you can do about these entities and attempt to prevent the
Alright.
existential threat they pose to Rayclast.
You're early today. Yeah, I'm super early. I have a sponsor to watch
In
Path
Siege
of
the
Exile.
Atlas, the two new eldritch horrors are the
And it's
Searing
at 11,
Exarch and
so
the
we're
Eater of
watching at
Worlds.
11. I know it's a little
These are
earlier than
similar to other
usual.
pinnacle Atlas bosses of the past, such as the Elder, the Shaper, the Maven, and
Let's see.
Cirrus. You will hunt down these two bosses and their sub-bosses, the Black Star and the Infinite Hunger. You will be able to pursue both eldritch horrors at the same time, but you can
Is
choose
it bad
which
if
you
I don't
pursue
know
on
what
a
any of
map-by-map
this means?
basis. In mid-tier maps, you'll randomly encounter the influence of either the Searing Exarch or the Eater of Worlds. The Maven understands
It looks
the
cool though,
threats that these
and I
eldritch
did
horrors
used to
pose to her
play
plans.
in the past.
She will
So
modify your map device so that when entering maps, you can choose
don't
to
know
add
much
either
about
the
maps.
influence of the Maven or any eldritch horror you have encountered.
all right. The bosses look
As you
unique.
run subsequent
Yeah,
maps
it's
influenced by the Searing Exarch
I mean,
or the
I
Eater
don't
of
know.
Worlds, the
I
amount
used
of
to play a
influence
while
monsters
ago.
in
This
those
is
maps
the new
increases as that
expansion, so
eldritch horror
I'm
gets closer
assuming
to
it's
you.
new. It looks
Eventually, you'll
complicated.
encounter either the Black
Guys,
Star or
definitely
the
this
Infinite
game's
Hunger, one of the
extremely
sub-bosses.
complicated.
You must
There's like a
defeat that boss
bazillion
in order to
builds,
continue
and it
progressing
kind of
closer
scared
to the
me.
horror you are pursuing. These bosses have exclusive new unique items in their drop
Oh,
pools.
oh, they got
You're likely to have
gloves.
encountered the
That's
influence
new.
of both horrors by this point, and can choose which one you're pursuing in each map. Finally, in the highest tiers,
Man,
of
there's a
maps, you
lot
will
of
encounter
things.
the
There's a
Searing
lot of
Exarch
things,
or the
guys.
Eater of Worlds themselves.
Okay.
If you are able to defeat these extremely difficult foes, they can drop their own exclusive new unique items and eldritch
mean-
currency items, which we'll describe later in the live stream.
Is it your type of game?
Once
Yeah, I've
you've
actually
explained
I
the
used to
Searing
play this a
Exarch
lot
or
in the
the Eater of
past.
Worlds
I
boss,
haven't played
you can then
recently
farm
though.
them. In
But
order
I
to do
might
so, you must
play with
complete
the
a
new
series of tier 14
expansion,
or above maps
Siege
with
of
that eldritch horror's
Siege of
influence
the
applied.
new expansion.
You'll eventually find a key that allows you to challenge the
Alright.
Black Star or the Infinite Hunger again. As this key to the fight is tradable, it's not a strict requirement that you slay this first boss, but the item rewards will strongly encourage you to do so. After
Right.
continuing to
They're
farm
telling
tier
us to
14 or
farm, I
higher
think.
horror-influenced maps, you will receive another tradable key to fight the
Okay.
Searing Exarch or the Eater of Worlds, giving you another shot at their exclusive rewards.
Sold. I feel like, you know, when people said I used to
The
grind
keys
in
to the
Rust
farmable
or
versions of
grind
these bosses
GTA
can be rolled
offline
like regular
for
maps,
money,
but with their
because I
own
used to
mod
play a lot of
This allows you
grinding
to
games
control the
back in the
difficulty
day.
and rewards even further. Earlier, I mentioned that maps can be influenced
Is
by
that
the
bad?
Searing Exarch
That
or the Eater
might
of
be bad.
Worlds.
I don't know.
Before we move on, I wanted to go into more detail about what that actually means. In
Alright.
influence maps, as you defeat enemies, altars themed around the Searing Exarch or the Eater of Worlds occasionally appear where you kill those enemies. These altars give you the choice between two options that can either modify your character, influenced monsters, or the boss of the
That's
map
like
by
all
increasing
games, yeah.
rewards, but also increasing difficulty. You can encounter
Okay.
multiple altars per area, so sometimes you can drastically affect the difficulty and rewards of a map as you play through it. It's also fine to
Let's
ignore it and
see.
choose not to increase the difficulty.
Cosmetics
and reward of
cost
the
a
map
lot?
if you feel
Do
that it's
they?
already challenging enough. An example of a
I think depending on the
modification is
game,
altering the map
I
boss
might
so
be
that
into
all of its
cosmetics. It
damage
depends on the
stops,
game a
but
lot,
also
though.
causing it to drop an additional
I don't know.
eldritch currency item as a reward. We'll explain what these new currency items
Why are all
do
the
later in
ads so
live stream.
early? I think it's more I have a late schedule as opposed
In the
to.
last iteration of
Well,
the
okay,
Atlas, you
11's a
needed to
little
use
early, I
watchstones
feel
to
like,
both unlock
but-
new maps and raise the level of maps across
It's
your
too
atlas.
loud, is it?
This required grinding
I feel like
conquest and
it's pretty
managing the
decent,
optimal placement of
volume.
16 different watchstones. In Siege of the Atlas, you've
Kirito
removed
started as a
watchstones and
grinder
restored
too.
the
That's
hidden
true,
maps
guys.
to
That
the
is
Atlas so they don't have to be unlocked
that
at
is
the
true,
time.
guys. He
We've
started
added
off
much
as
of
a
the power of
grinder,
craftable
so I
watchstones
mean,
to
he was
Atlas
the
assets
original
so you can
grinder, you
still
could
access
say.
the benefits you're used to without the
It's a little
busy
low
work of
now?
managing
Okay.
watchstones.
I mean, some people said it was too loud, so
Despite
I
the
wasn't.
era of watchstones being over, we do really like the ability to raise the tier of maps on your
Okay.
atlas, so that eventually all of them are tier 16. To this
Oh
end,
no,
we have
this is
introduced
this is
voidstones.
the part that
We've
always
known up
confused me.
four
See
of
how
these,
complicated
one
these
each
like
from the Uber Elder, the
these
Maven,
things
the
get,
Searing
guys? There's
Exarch,
like
and the
skill
Eater of
trees, all this
Worlds.
stuff, and there's like
Placing voidstones
10
in your
million
atlas will raise the
options.
tier of all of its maps,
It's like pretty
eventually making them
you
uniformly
kind of
tier
have to
16.
like you kind of have to Google a guide,
In
man.
Siege
It's
of the
too
Atlas, we remove the concept
it's too
of atlas
complicated,
regions
just saying.
entirely. This means that we're saying
Is that
goodbye
bad to say?
regional atlas
Oh
passive
no, it's
trees
definitely
and hello
not.
to a single
Definitely.
gigantic
Yeah,
atlas
this is the
passive
skill
tree.
tree right here, I think. Look
Good
at the
old
skill
Path
tree,
of
guys. I think
Exile.
you start like in the middle,
This new tree
and
has
you can
over
go
600
anywhere.
passives available to
It's
choose
like
from, and you can earn
crazily
117
complicated.
atlas
I
passive
usually
skill
Google a
points by
guide,
completing your
and by
atlas.
Google a guide, I
Each
mean,
different map you
I don't
complete
even
will
read the
bonus
guide. I
advantage
just
of,
look up the
grants you
picture and
one
try and
skill
follow
point.
the dots.
You
Is
can
what I
also
did
earn some extra
when I
points
used
by
to play this
completing the
game, like
Maven's
way back when.
multi-boss fights. Whenever you allocate an atlas passive skill, its stats
yeah,
apply to every map you run anywhere
you just
on
kind
the
of
atlas.
just
Also, because it's much faster to
you just
complete
look
earlier
up the
maps on
guide,
the
guys,
atlas,
and
your
you
atlas
follow the
point
dots.
acquisition
It's
is
like
pretty front-loaded,
connect the
letting you
dots
quickly
kind of game.
establish an atlas layout
Every
that
time you
helps
level
find
up.
and profit from
What are
your
you doing
favorite
after?
content.
Probably getting on GTA is the plan,
We've
I think.
integrated some skills from past regional atlas trees and have created several new ones, like secret operations, which turns some of the strongboxes you encounter into a new type of strongbox that drops scarabs.
All right.
Corrupted Gaze causes abyssal jewels to sometimes drop corrupted with 5 or 6 modifiers rather than a typical 4.
Oh yeah, I know what that
Ghastly
means.
Devotion guarantees that areas that contain ritual altars will always contain 4 altars.
Oh, yeah, we love
Having one
ritual
massive atlas
altars,
tree
guys.
means that you
Those
can deeply specialize in
are
certain
good,
types of
I
content
think,
without being limited
because you
to
get
what was available
4
in a
of them.
specific region. You can increase how often you encounter your favorite content
I think.
and adjust how challenging and rewarding that content is. The removal of Atlas regions means that you have more freedom to run the maps you like without being forced into regions of the Atlas that have passives that affect the content you wanted to play.
Okay.
The topic of map drops is also important here.
This
Powerful
game's good.
characters
Oh,
are
it is. I've
capable of
played it in the
playing
past
reduced
before.
maps,
I'm just
which
a little
results in
behind
them
on the
finding a lot
times,
of
so I
items,
don't know what's
including more
happening
maps.
for a
Often,
lot of
they get
things.
more maps
but
than they actually need.
yeah.
Weaker characters have to be more careful with what mods they add to their maps and hence find fewer maps. This new Atlas tree lets you choose how much you want to invest in a map tier upgrade that used to be the Atlas completion
Map
bonus.
tier-
Which means
Wait,
that
wait.
powerful characters who
Wait,
don't
guys,
need
you're
extra
telling me
maps
the map
instead
has
focus those
skill
points on
points
improving
too?
the rewards from
Am
content
I-
they play. On the other
Am I?
hand,
Maybe
weaker
I'm
characters can
misunderstanding.
invest
I
in
feel
finding
like
better
the
maps,
normal skill
and can
tree
then
was already
respec
really
this later on,
complicated.
once they're
Now
finding
the map
servers.
has a skill tree.
We'll make the full tree
Maybe I'm
available
understanding it
next week
wrong.
so that you can
I've got
start
to be
playing
understanding it
before Siege
wrong.
of the Atlas launches.
The map has
Every
actually,
large
or
Path
am I
of
being
Exile
memed
expansion
on?
needs a new
I
way
feel
to
like the
complete
original
most
one was
powerful
already
items in the
complicated
game.
enough, but
Siege of the Atlas introduces a new endgame item mechanic called Eldritch
you can
implicit
put skill
modifiers.
points in your map
A
tree.
problem we had with the
Oh
old
god,
Shaper,
alright.
Elder, and Conqueror influence system was that while the items were
The
extremely
game's good.
powerful,
It is. I
they
used
had
to
be
play it,
crafted
yeah.
using highly specialized and complicated methods. A regular influenced
mean,
item you found on the ground usually
you guys,
wasn't
are
of
these
much
like god
value
tier items or
unless it was a
something? These
certain
are
base
like,
type at a specific item level. Influenced items
I'm
were
assuming these
generally
are
not
like
that useful in
supposedly
early
really good
game or even
items
most
'cause
high-end maps,
they're
as they
showing
were
it to
basically
us
a
or
post-end
something.
game feature. A new system of Eldritch implicits allows
no,
you to apply
those
Eldritch
suck.
mods to already
They
good
do?
items that you have,
Why?
so that
Why
you
are
can
they?
more
Why are they
freely
showing
choose
them
how
to
you
us if
create
they
your
suck
best
then?
items. You can also start interacting with Eldritch implicits much earlier in your mapping experience.
How long is it?
As you know,
It's
Path of
actually a
Exile
live
items
stream on their
have an
channel.
implicit
We're just
mod
kind of
that either comes
co-streaming it.
built into the
It
item
should be
based on
about
what
30
type it
minutes, I
is,
think.
or can be modified with systems such as Val Corruption.
So we're almost
Eldritch
halfway done.
implicits replace existing implicit mods, but with a twist.
They're really bad
Mods
items,
allow
are they?
one Eldritch implicit
I mean,
from
I
the Searing
don't really
Exarch
know, so.
and one from the Eater of Worlds at the same time. These implicits have
Alright.
many different tiers and several ways to interact with them. While playing maps
Oh,
in Siege of the
God,
Atlas, you may find some new currency items.
I mean,
Eldritch
I
Hammer
don't really
and
know what
Eldritch Picker, corresponding to the
adds a
Searing
lesser
Exarch and
Eater
the
of
Worlds,
Worlds
respectively.
modifier
These currency
body.
items
Oh,
can be applied
I
to
couldn't even read
gloves,
it before.
helmets, body
Okay, I
armors,
mean,
or
I'm not
boots,
complaining,
and
but
overwrite the item's
that was
regular implicit
definitely a
mods
little
with
bit
new
of an
mods from two
overload of
special
information
pools
for
of
me there.
powerful modifiers. As I mentioned before,
Is it a
an
new
item can have
game?
both a
Not
Searing
exactly.
Exarch
Path of
implicit
Exile
and
is
an
not
Eater of
brand
Worlds
new,
implicit at the same
but
time.
there is a new expansion
Applying
coming
the
out
same type of
February
mod multiple
4th.
times will
I think.
overwrite the appropriate mod
So.
with a new random one.
Yeah.
These gloves have a single Eldritch implicit mod which grants you the ability to gain rage on hit, rate limited by a cooldown.
I mean,
There are two Eldritch implicit mods on this helmet. The first one
Okay.
simply grants some added fire damage with spells. The
I think they're
second
trying to
implicit causes
explain to me
enemies
how the
within a
game
radius
works.
near you to be unable to regenerate
but I'm more
life.
of a person who plays it to learn it
Each mod
than
has 6
reads to
tiers of
learn it.
power. The first four
Like,
tiers
this
come from
has
the
too
four
many words
versions
for
of the
me.
Eldritch
I'm
Ember
gonna
and
glaze
Echo
over it.
currency items, while the highest two tiers can only be upgraded
Actually,
to
all
a
the words
special
look the
item we'll
same.
explain
It's just the
soon.
number
The
increasing.
first
So
tier of Eldritch Ember
I don't
or Echo
really.
drops on all maps and means that any important build
I
enabling
mean,
mods
I'm more
are
of a
available
player.
without
You
having
know
to
what I
complete
mean?
the
Like,
entire atlas.
is anyone else like
The
that?
second and third tiers come from exploring maps influenced by the Eldritch Horrors, and the fourth tier drops from the Searing Exarch or the
Okay.
Eater of Worlds themselves. You may be wondering how you get access to the fifth and sixth tiers. This requires some luck and planning.
Yeah,
The
that's
Maven
what
and
I
their
was
encounters have a
wondering.
chance to drop the Orb of Conflict. When used on an item with 2 Eldritch implicits, the Orb of Conflict lowers the tier of one implicit mod and increases
Okay.
the tier of the other. This allows you to manipulate the balance between the two types of implicits. The best possible
What was with
outcome is
the
to have a
boss?
tier 6 and a tier 4 mod at the same time. In order to achieve this, you'd want to apply the
I feel like
highest
they're
Eldritch
getting
Ember or Eldritch Echo
really
over and
into
over
the
until you have a
details,
tier 4 modifier that you
which
want.
means if you don't
Then
already know
use
the
Orbs of
details,
Conflict
it's
to
hard
try
to
get
keep
it
up
to tier 6
a little bit.
before using more Ember and Echo to lock in the tier 4 mod of the other type that you're looking for.
It all makes sense. I ain't even gonna pretend, guys. I mean, I'm technically sponsored, but I'm a little lost. I think a lot of it is in the details, and if you don't already play a lot,
Also,
it'd
none of the new
maybe be
implicit mods have
confusing.
item level restrictions that prevent them from being applied to an item. There are also conditional versions
think
of Eldritch implicit
good game,
mods that
though.
are only enabled when specific types of enemies are in your
Still have the bear.
presence.
Yep.
These ramp up in power as the condition gets more restrictive. These conditional mods are designed for players who feel that they have
Oh, this is a
sufficient
boss,
clear speed
I
for
think.
easier monsters and want to specialize
boss
in being
fight.
even more effective against the really tough bosses where it matters.
Characters look OP in the video.
Items
I
with Eldritch
mean,
implicits
I'd
also
imagine
have a
they
property
are
of being
because,
dominated by one
know.
of the Eldritch Horrors. If an
What's the
item
plan
has a
today? We
higher
finish
tier
watching this
Searing
up, and then we'll be on
Exarch mod,
GTA
then it
later.
is considered dominated by the Searing Exarch. Conversely, if the mod for the Eater of Worlds is higher tier, then it is
Eater of-
considered dominated
and
by the Eater of Worlds.
Domination of the.
Domination matters for 3 new currency items we're introducing. The Eldritch Chaos Orb will reroll the prefixes of an item if it is dominated by the Searing
It's not good
Exarch,
for people who
or
don't know the
suffixes
game.
if the
Yeah,
item
I'm
is
not gonna
dominated
pretend,
by the
guys.
Eater of Worlds.
Trailer was cool and
The
stuff.
same is true for
I
the
think right
Eldritch
now it's
Exalt
getting into
or the
like
Eldritch Orb of
details,
Annulment, which add or
and
remove
since I
elements
haven't
or
played the
suffix
game,
depending on which
the
horror
details
dominates the
don't
item.
make too much.
These very rare currency items give you a large degree of control
Yeah,
over your
I mean, it's
in-game
not,
rare item crafting if you're able to manipulate the Eldritch implicits correctly. It's important to note that you can't apply Eldritch implicit mods to
guys,
infamous
I'm lost,
items.
man.
By that, I mean items that
The
have the
trailer
old
was
type
cool
of
though.
Shaper, Elder, or
Trailer was
Conqueror
cool, but
influence.
I mean, there's a lot of details here.
The Siege of the Atlas expansion
I'm
contains
more
a
of
full
a
roster of new
pictures
unique
kind of
items,
person,
which drop from the 4 new
So-
Atlas bosses we have introduced.
but there are
These
new
powerful
unique items. I know
we'll
what
show
that
you 6
means.
of them today. The Ashes of the Stars Onyx Amulet increases the
New
level
expansions
of all
like
of
the
your skill
end
gems
game?
and
Oh,
grants
that
them
makes
an additional
sense.
20% quality. It also improves the reservation efficiency of your skills
Okay.
and lets you level all of your gems faster, which is really
See.
useful for gems such as Empower and Enlighten.
You're early. Yeah,
The
we're
big
early
boost
for
in
the
quality is very
sponsor.
valuable with some alternate quality
Because
gems,
they're
as well as
streaming it
certain
at
skills like
11, and we had
curses.
to watch it at 11. So
The Dissolution of the Flesh prismatic jewel changes the way that you interact with incoming damage.
you guys, they're giving
While
us
you
like
have this jewel
loot.
equipped,
I
damage
mean,
is taken in the form of a temporary reservation to your life.
you know, I bet
If you
someone who
reserve
plays this
100%
game a
of your
lot right
life,
now
you die.
is like, oh my
This allows
god,
you
this
to
is the
ignore life
craziest thing
recovery
ever. I
completely,
can't
since the
believe
actual
it.
amount of life you have left
But
is
for me,
irrelevant, as
who
long
has
as you
played this
manage the
game
timing
a
of
lot
your
in the
life
past but
reservation.
hasn't played recently, I'm just like,
Polaric Devastation Opal Ring introduces a new
what
debuff
is
called Covered in Frost and gives
I
you another
mean,
way to apply the existing Covered in Ash
the
debuff.
Polaric
This is a solid
Devastation
ring for
Opal
anyone
Ring.
specializing in either fire or cold damage. In a similar vein to
But
Covered
I
in
bet
Ash,
you someone
Covered in
out
Frost
there who
forces
plays
the
this game
target to
every
take
day is
20%
like,
increased cold
man, this
damage
is
and
wicked.
lowers their critical strike
Absolute
chance.
wicked.
The Ceaseless Feast spiked gloves have a new debuff called Corrosion,
Okay.
which you can stack up on enemies to remove their armor and evasion. This is not only a
Is this
great
the
way to
same
reduce
item
their
or a new
physical
one?
damage reduction,
I think
but
it's
the
a new
gloves
one.
also have an additional bonus
This
to
is
the
a good
price
item,
move,
right?
strip away all of the
19% melee
enemy's armor
damage. That
or
sounds
evasion.
kind of busted, but I mean,
We are also
don't really
introducing a
know.
pair of very rare aspirational unique jewels, Forbidden Flame and
Let's
Forbidden
see.
Flesh. Each of these jewels
Does-
drops from one of the 2
do we have
new
some
Pinnacle
pros
Atlas
that can-
bosses,
yeah,
and
are
they're
these
certainly
items?
unique in that they must
Where'd the
work
numbers
together
go?
to unlock their potential. They require the user of the jewel to be a specific class, and they roll with a modifier that specifies a random ascendancy skill from one of the ascendancies of that class. If you are able to equip both a Forbidden
they're
Flame and a
new
Forbidden Flesh
jewels.
jewel
Oh,
that
the things you
specify
put
same
inside the
skill,
items, maybe.
and if you meet the class requirement, then you'll be
Or
granted
something?
that ascendancy skill. For example, If you're a Deadeye and find a forbidden flame jewel that specifies the Master Surgeon,
If you're a
from the
Deadeye
Path of
and
Exile,
find the
then upon
forbidden
finding and
flame
equipping a
jewel,
matching
you
forbidden
can...
flesh jewel, you will gain the Master
And the
Surgeon skill. These
flesh...
jewels open up many new build possibilities.
What's
for
a
very late
what's a
endgame characters.
Deadeye flame?
The favored map system allows you to find more of
Fa
the maps that you
favored
want to
map.
play. In the old Atlas, there were 3 favored map slots available to unlock in each region. Now that regions have been removed, favored map slots can be unlocked by meeting
Oh yeah,
various
guys,
enemies
I know
in the
exactly
tier
what they're
16
talking
map or
about
defeating
because
an Elder Guardian. There are 12 favored map slots that can be unlocked. These now apply to all map drops on the Atlas, rather than affecting map drops in just one region.
Oh hey, it's the
Each
map
slot
skill
provides
tree.
a
I
10
remember
times
this one.
multiplier to how frequently its corresponding map drops relative to other maps. You can select 12 different maps as your favored maps.
12
or you can put the
favorite
same map type in all 12
favorite
slots for a
maps.
massive 120 times boost to its occurrence in your
Right,
drop.
right.
This is particularly powerful once you've socketed all 4 void stones into your Atlas, making all of your maps tier 16, and with a 120 times multiplier applied to a specific map. In this case,
120 times multiplier? I don't know what that even means. It just sounds busted though.
Map drops.
So I guess you
Sections can
can
be found from
choose
tier 14
certain
onwards
maps
and are
to
applied to
grind
void
more,
stones. When you use
and you
one on a
get
void
better
stone, it
loot.
affects your whole
I
Atlas.
mean, I don't...
Because void stones come from the highest tier content, we've removed simple sextants and prime sextants, as they can no longer be used when you would typically acquire them. We've added the mods from these sextants to the pool of mods that awakened sextants have. Because this dilutes the pool of mods that awakened sextants can roll, we've increased the frequency at which you acquire awakened sextants. Your existing simple and prime sextants will be converted to awakened sextants.
Am I supposed to know what this is?
We have made no changes to elevated sextants. With the new Atlas system as context, we've done a balanced pass of all sextant mods.
I thought it was
This
like
resulted in a slight reduction
a
to the
tool
amount
to
of
help
content
find
or
where you
monsters
are
that
when
a
you're
given
sailing,
sextant
but I
mod
mean, I don't know
introduces
what it
to an
is
area. We've
in
removed
terms of
the
this
Nemesis
game.
monsters drop 3 additional currency items mod, both because it's busted and because it's incompatible with our future plans for the Arch Nemesis League.
It's currency to modify
We've
jewels
also
that
added a
modify
whole
the
bunch of new
maps.
sextant modifiers.
Okay.
The general intention behind
it sounds like
using
you
mods is to
choose
give a
favorite
strong
grinding
benefit
maps, maybe.
while adding extra difficulty, or reward players for specializing into having other leagues present.
Too
in an
much
area.
info?
For example,
Yeah, I
there's a
think
sextant
if
mod
you've
that
never
ensures
played
all
the game
breaches in an
before,
area belong to
for
Chaiwa.
sure you're going to
So
be
if you can
absolutely
maximize the
just
number of breaches through
confused.
scarabs, map device
Or even if
modifiers,
you've played the
Atlas
game
passive
before but
tree, or
haven't
other
spammed it,
sextants, then you've
it'd
got a
still be
whole
quite
bunch of valuable
confusing, I
Chaiwa
think.
breaches in that map.
Because I've
With the
played the
removal
game
of
before and I
watchstones,
don't know half
players
the
would have
things you're
lost the
saying.
ability to swap in and out watchstones with different sextant modifiers on them depending on which maps they were running. We like the strategic use
I'm
of
still not
sextants,
even sure
so
what
we've
a sextant
reintroduced this
is, but he
behavior
keeps saying
with a
it.
new currency item called the Surveyor's Compass. This can be applied to a void stone with a sextant mod on it to itemize that sextant mod for later use or trade.
I mean, I'm still not sure what it is,
This
but
currency item
it
drops
must be
periodically.
important
It's
if they
also
bring
sold
it
by
up that
Carrick
much.
for 1 Chaos Orb, similar to how Einhaus sells Bestiary Orbs. There's no limit on how many
I'm
you can
guessing.
purchase. With Zana gone, you may be wondering what is happening to her Atlas missions. Well, Carrick is taking over from
Commander
her, but it works
Carrick.
a little differently now. Carrick has assumed the position of commander, and he has important missions for you to carry out in the Atlas. You open these missions at your map device and can run them just like before. However, you won't encounter Carrick inside a map, and you won't be able to apply Carrick objectives to a map itself. Because of this, we've raised the chance that you receive.
Hey guys, this is like a
Carrick
multiplayer
objective when you
game, right?
defeat a map
So you can
boss.
play in a group, I think.
Previously, Zana's missions had
Probably.
completion objectives, but with the removal of the favor system, this stopped mattering. Instead of focusing on completion, Carrick missions now focus more on rewards, and so their purpose is to provide you with additional league content or extra item drops. Instead of your free daily mission being based
it's
on the last map you've completed,
a lot
it's
of
now based on the highest tier map
information,
you've completed in this current league.
I
For
think.
example, if you completed a tier 16 map, your daily missions will always be high tier maps. Carrick missions can now
Scar and Peter
include
play it?
additional
Yeah,
content
I used to
like
play it too,
conquerors,
but I
ritual
haven't played
encounters,
recently,
expedition
which is
encounters,
probably
and
why
even
so much
monstrous
stuff is
treasure,
confusing
the
to
form
me.
of prophecy that makes an area contain 24 to 36 additional strongboxes
Alright.
with no natural monster inhabitants. Carrick now sells you maps, much like Zana did in the past, except there is now a wider variety of outcomes with
see.
variance on the prices.
Sounds like a
So you should
devlog.
probably go and
Yeah, a
check
little
what he's
bit.
selling more frequently in case there's a good deal. The items in the window are re-rolled under the same conditions as Zana's previous shop. Carrick can sell
I
maps
mean,
that
I
come
don't
with
know what-
illicit mods enabling various content,
Plans of
example,
playing it
a
soon?
map
Yeah, we'll
that
probably
always has a
play the new
Legion
expansion, I
encounter,
think,
or
as
maps
part of
that
the
have
thing.
varying degrees
It
of
is very
clearance and so on.
complex, and I'm just gonna say it.
As
I
you
said
play
it
through maps,
earlier,
you'll
but
occasionally find Atlas
this is
scouting
obviously
reports,
very confusing
essentially
if you've never seen the
communication
game
about important
before.
missions from other people who scouted the Atlas and didn't survive.
Yeah.
These items
I
can
mean,
be
I've
used
played the
to
game
encourage the
before,
item to reroll the
and
set of
I'm
mission
still very
maps that
confused,
Carrick
not
is
even gonna
offering.
lie.
These new maps have a different set of mission outcomes that includes valuable ones like
Is this an ad
guaranteeing
for
a unique
reacting?
map,
Pretty
having
much,
all
yeah.
maps be
We
corrupted,
react to their
always including
stream
a Shaper
for their
Guardian,
new
Elder Guardian, or
expansion,
Conqueror,
and
having only uncompleted
um,
maps available, or adding
no,
a
that's
breach
most of
zone
it.
to the selection. The
Um,
value here is not only the reroll of what is offered to you, but also the guarantee of one or more high-value missions. On the Atlas passive tree, you can specialize in
Atlas
finding
passive
more
tree.
Atlas scouting reports.
So
or
what
unlocking
I've
new types
learned
that can
is
drop.
your character has a
Carrick
skill
also
tree,
sells the
and
aforementioned
then apparently
surveyor's
your
bonus
map
to
has a
itemized
skill
sex
tree,
rewards, as well
or
as
something.
everything else Zana
I'm not
previously sold, like specific
not
divination
sure.
cards.
Um,
Despite them not being part of the core Atlas experience anymore, it's still possible
Conqueror's
to fight
influence,
Cirrus and the
right.
Conquerors to take advantage of their influence and unique item rewards.
Yes, I'm assuming this is all
Tier 14 or
endgame
higher map
stuff,
bosses now have a
and I
chance
don't
to
know
drop
if I'll
maps
ever
influenced
even
by
make
the
it this
Shaper,
far.
the Elder, or a random Conqueror. You can also purchase these maps from Carrick. When you enter the map, you'll be met with hordes of influence monsters that can drop influenced items. Upon defeating the map boss, a portal will open to the Conqueror's arena. Upon death, the Conqueror will drop a fragment.
Okay.
Each Conqueror has their own fragment. Combine all 4 fragments in your map device to open a set of portals to the Cirrus encounter. As it's now harder to get influenced items, we've moved plus level gem modifiers into the global mod pool for amulets. So it's now possible to get the powerful +2 levels to certain gems without having to use influenced amulets.
Okay.
Now that Cirrus and the Conquerors are no longer core parts of Atlas gameplay, they will not drop awakened gems. These gems can now drop from Maven invitations.
That's a lot of words.
Arch Nemesis is a challenge league that reinvigorates fights with rare monsters. It introduces around 60 new monster
These
mods and allows you to
texts.
customize your rare boss fights to control your level of risk and reward. These mods can be combined in over 35 recipes to create new, more powerful and rewarding mods. As you play through the league, you'll discover more recipes and learn how to best utilize them to get the most valuable rewards.
I know what's
When you
going
slay
on.
regular,
Do
rare,
you?
and magic
Do
monsters
you
in the
really?
Arch-Nemesis League, they sometimes drop an itemized version of a new Arch-Nemesis monster modifier.
Okay.
You store these in a dedicated inventory panel so they don't clutter your regular inventory. Over the course of each area you play, you'll encounter 4 monsters that are frozen in place, petrified, and bound to an Arch-Nemesis statue. When you find such a monster, you can free it by empowering it with an Arch-Nemesis mod. If you're able to successfully defeat the empowered monster, then you will receive the fixed reward that corresponds to that modifier. The trick that makes this league awesome is the 4 petrified monsters per area. You see, the mods you apply will accumulate as you play through the area. When you empower your second monster, it also has the mod you applied to the first monster. This results in a fight that has twice as many dangerous mods and twice as many rewards. Even though you receive the reward from the first mod when you kill the
we
first
got something
petrified
orange.
monster,
Is
you
that
receive a second reward of that type when you kill the second
orange is
petrified
good?
monster.
I
The
mean,
same applies to the third and fourth
right,
fights
of
in the
course,
area as
orange
well.
is good.
By the
I
time you
think.
defeat the 4th monster, you'll have received the first reward 4 times, the second reward 3 times, and so on. Take
The
care when
first
picking what
reward
order you
for
consume your mods so that you can maximize your rewards. More than half of the available mods are created by combining other mods together on the same monster. As an example of how this works, if you apply both Incendiary and Hasted to the same monster, then in addition to the rewards that these 2 mods grant, you will also receive an itemized Flamewalker mod.
This dude's
upon
like
killing the monster.
3-shotting it.
This can then be applied to another petrified monster later on to complete further recipes. These recipe mods yield substantially more dangerous encounters and have more valuable rewards. Even if you're not completing a recipe with your modifiers, you can still combine them to get some ridiculous combinations of rewards. For example, defeating an Innocence-touched enemy grants 3 currency rewards and converts all other rewards into currency. Defeating a mirror image enemy grants a divination card reward and rerolls all rewards 3 times, yielding the rarest result. Killing a Flamewalker enemy
Oh, the
grants
rarest
3 weapon
result.
rewards. Killing a toxic enemy grants a generic reward plus a gem reward. If you were to kill an enemy with all 4 modifiers, you get a total of 9 currency rewards, each rolled 3 times and dropping the best result. But if you apply the mods in the order mentioned above, then as you kill each of the 4 monsters in the area, you'll receive the earlier rewards multiple times. The end result is the equivalent of getting 60 currency rewards and receiving the best 20 plus 3 regular currency rewards. As you can see from this example, even the basic rewards that offer say 3 random weapons are really useful because you can combine them with reward conversion mods to take advantage of their high item counts. We're looking forward to seeing what other types of crazy ways you manage to combine your arch nemesis rewards. To prevent you having to backtrack, there are more than 4
Guys, I'm not even going to
locations
pretend
where
I'm
you
not
may
stun
encounter
locked. I have
Pokemon
no
monsters in
idea
each
what they're
area,
talking
but
about
only
anymore.
The first 4 you encounter can be empowered and fought.
I mean, this dude's like spinning around. Look at him go. Guy's playing Beyblade right here. That's kind of cool. I want to be that guy. I don't know the rest of the stuff happening. I mean,
there are a lot of tough decisions about which reward combinations or recipes you can pursue.
the helicopter. That's a good one, guys. That's a good one. The helicopter one.
Very common gameplay types that struggle with endgame content.
I've been watching some TikToks lately. Some songs are way overused. Just gonna say, some are like ultra overused. Helicopter one's not bad. That one's not
If you
bad.
haven't checked out the balance manifesto about these changes that we posted recently, I'd encourage you to read all
Or
about
I mean,
them.
at least for me, like that one I kind of like. It's funny.
To be
I think.
clear, this expansion does have a few of the
Oh
usual
god,
nerfs to the
TikTok.
most
Honestly,
underperforming builds,
some of
but
them are
for
like
the
kind of
most part,
scuffed.
the
Some of them are
majority of
funny,
balance
but
changes
like
are buffs.
it makes it
The goal
easy
is
for you to
players
skip
who
through
play
it.
hit damage bow
So
builds
like
and
if it
custom
sucks,
spell
and a
tests
lot
are
of them do,
significantly more
you can
competitive.
kind of just skip through it really quick.
Alongside Siege of the Atlas, we're introducing 2 new types
Alright.
of stash tab, one for flasks and one for gems.
Haven't
The
been
side
this
effect of
lost
this
since
is
the
that
court
you're able to
RP.
set your regular
I think the
tabs
court
to
RP
affinity
made
for
more sense
flasks
to
or
me,
gems,
but I mean,
regardless of whether you've purchased the new specialized tabs. The gem stash tab
No.
allows you to easily store and sort your collection of up to 500 skill and support gems. By default, it displays all gems stored in the tab, but you can use one of the 4 categories at the top to filter between
Alright.
red, green, blue, and white gems.
court
There's a
RP was
drop-down
hard to
that allows you
follow.
pick your
A little
preferred
bit, but
sorting
like
method,
at the end of
such
the
as
day, it
current
was
gem
like,
level, required level, or
you know.
quality, to easily find whatever gem you're looking for. The flask stash tab allows
There's
you to swap
100 new
500 flasks
things.
and can
Yeah,
be
it
filtered
seems
to
like
show
there's a
light,
lot of new
mana,
things for
hybrid,
sure.
utility, and unique flasks. You can also use the drop-down to change the sort order between item level, base type, and quality. This allows you to
Okay.
quickly find flasks of a certain type, potential flasks to vendor for glassblowers baubles, or high item level flasks for crafting. Remember that regardless of whether you've purchased these new tabs, you'll still be able to set up affinities for gems or flasks on your existing stash tabs. Alongside the launch of
Class,
Siege
I
of the
have
Atlas,
no
we are hosting
idea.
a competitive event
This
where
is too.
players will
It's
race to be
definitely
the first to kill a
confusing
trio of bosses.
since we've
The main
never
event
really
is
done the
Series
game
X
very
and the
much
Eater of
before.
Worlds. The event will take place in the hardcore solo self-found Arch Nemesis League.
All
We
right.
have some interesting prizes in store for the winners. Keep an eye on the news next week for
Patch.
more
It's like a
details
new
about how this event will work and what its prizes are.
expansion or something like that.
We're almost at the Q&A, but first I'd like to show you the new supporter packs we're releasing
Alright.
today to help fund development of future Path of Exile expansions. Our
New
packs are called
supporter
the Worm and
packs.
Amberkeep supporter packs.
All right. I'm assuming these are optional
Like our recent League
cosmetics.
packs, there are 3 tiers available, each of which include points equivalent
Hey guys,
to the
is
cost
it
of the pack,
bad if I
plus many
say
exclusive
you don't need
cosmetic
cosmetics
microtransactions like
because when you
apparition
use your
effects,
skills, you
armor
can't
sets,
see your
weapon
character?
skins, foreign
You
badges,
guys saw like the
potions, and
gameplay
silver
earlier,
frames.
right? Your dude just turns into a spinning light, so
The
it's
Worm
like kind
series
of.
comes with an exclusive
you know.
pet, and the Amberkeep series comes
I
with an
shouldn't say that because
exclusive
I'm
weapon
sponsored
effect.
though, but like
These
I don't
new
know.
packs
Watching
are
the
in addition to
gameplay,
the
it's so
2020
bright. There's all
support
these
packs that
colors.
we
You can't really
released
see your
recently.
dude anymore, you
Remember
know.
to check those out if you
But I
haven't
mean,
already.
they look cool.
That concludes the reveal portion of this live stream. Keep an
all
eye
right.
on our news next week as we unveil more details about the Siege of the Atlas expansion and the Arch Nemesis League. In the meantime, these reveals are already live on YouTube for you to link to your
Oh, the
friends and
reveals are on
patrons to the live
YouTube if
stream.
you guys want to
Please
hear
spread
all the
the word,
information
and
again.
join us as we explore the Atlas alongside you next week. It's
All
now
right,
time.
guys. That's it for the watch along. I think it's pretty interesting. All right, it was pretty interesting. I thought not a bad game. I think for the reveal, like for a new player like myself, you know, obviously a little too much information. You know what I mean? Because like it went really into the details. I think for an experienced player, that would have been interesting. But for me, it was like trailer was cool, you know, stuff like that. But I think for like a player who hasn't really played much, it obviously that would for sure throw them off, I think. But pretty cool. I think we'll be playing it when it comes out on February 4th. So that'll be cool, I think. But obviously, guys, a lot of the end game stuff, like, I've never even seen it before, so threw me off. But it is a good game. I used to play it in the past a bunch. So